Hey everybody, Mike Sandoval here with MUSE TV. We are here with David Darg and Price James for You Cannot Kill David Arquette. This is a great documentary. I loved it. What was it about this story that you had to put it on screen and tell?
Wow, what a combination of themes that we explore in this film. I think for us, the story just takes you on an emotional roller coaster. So we knew straight away when it was presented to us as directors that this was a fantastic opportunity to play with some things that we love, which is Americana and kitsch and like counterculture, but also tell a tragic story. There's a lot of loss and troubles that David Arquette goes through, and you see that in the course of the film. But it's a redemptive story. It's an underdog story. It's everything you want to be able to tackle as a director, sort of wrapped into one. So it was a real thrill to get offered this film, and we were all about it straight away.
Yep. For you and Price, what was it like to get everything together? Because I know it was about a year ago. It's a little after his heart attack. How was it trying to tell the story, especially to make sure that, like, to tell things that people probably didn't even know was occurring at that time?
Price, are you there, buddy?
I lost some audio then.
Well, let's go with the question again. Internet, it happens. During this whole time when you're trying to put together the story, there's a lot of issues like his heart attack and him wanting to come back into wrestling and what occurred in 2000. How was it that, how were you able to delve into that story and really tell that story about him, a redemption as a wrestler?
Well, first off, I think his access to us, the access we had to him, it was a kind of no holds barred, everything goes, the highs, the lows, the pretty, the ugly, So once we knew we had that access, it was really about strategizing the kind of film that we would want to see. And obviously it's a documentary, but it plays very hard into like those cinema tropes of retro sports action movies, John Alvarson. And we knew we could sort of bounce the line, skip over the line of, real dark, but presenting it in an entertaining way that was kind of felt very fresh and modern, a fusing of genre. And we sort of, the health stuff played a huge part of it, because a hero's journey, you have to overcome obstacles. You need physical change, emotional change, internal change, and as well with the sort of family support around him and the negativity from Hollywood, from wrestling fans. There's so much to overcome. So we knew there were so many layers that we could really dig into, and then present it in a just really cool poppy kind of way that then unexpectedly sort of dug in and gave you some emos and some feels.
Yeah, because that was the one thing that, as I can only imagine as a director, because it seemed like a lot of these wrestlers were going after, not just like the show wrestling going after him. It looked like they were really going after him to really do damage to him. How hard was it to shoot that and not have to just say, "Hey, wait up here"? That's like when at the hi-hat where you got the shiv in the neck. I mean, how do you not just say, "Hey, wait up here"? This is like going a little too far.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, David had become a really dear friend of ours. So it was very hard to see him not just go through a lot of physical abuse in the wrestling ring, but emotional troubles as well. I mean, throughout the course of production, there was a lot of highs, but there were a lot of lows. I mean, you see in the film, his marriage almost fell apart at one point. He's struggling with a lot of things. And so, yeah, it's a struggle always. But in those moments where he's getting injured in the ring, really tough, because you want to jump in and save your friend, but you have to keep the cameras rolling. And that's what David wanted. I mean, David didn't want this to be manufactured. He wanted to do this on his own, because, I mean, that ironically, that's what he was criticized for, that it was spoon-fed to him before, that he got the championship without deserving it. So for David, he had to earn this. He didn't want people to interfere. This was his journey, and whatever it took, he was going to do it.
Yeah, and that's one thing I loved about the film, is that it was really a good look into what was going on. How much of the issues that happened in that time did you know about already going into the film? Did you know anything about what happened?
Nothing at all, really, which is a great way to start a film. Once we had that nugget of information, and then dug in onto like Twitter and like fan sites and realized there was this genuine sort of emotional animosity to a guy who was an actor who was thrust into a world where people say is acting. So there's a whole irony there. And we knew that once there was that kind of that opposition to overcome, we had a story. So, I mean, it was like, you know, not knowing about it was great, but obviously we were both huge fans of wrestling when we were kids. So it was kind of an opportunity to like get back into it and just explore a fantasy world that's so real as well, with like, you know, grassroots indie scene, Americana, people destroying their bodies who aren't on TV. They're just doing it in rec centers and like karate dojos and, you know, whatever. It's like, it's, you know, to really dig into that across America has been like an amazing journey for us as filmmakers.
Have you thought about making with that film, with that, since you're saying about looking into and then going in depth in these backyard wrestling type of style of performances, you ever thought about maybe delving into that as well in the future after this film hits?
Well, for us to become wrestlers?
No, I don't know about wrestlers because I tried it once and it hurt.
See, but I have I got a little mullet cut just for I'll give an ode to the indie scene.
Exactly, but no,
but like
every documentary,
every scene of our film could have been its own documentary. Like there could be a whole film just about the backyard wrestling kids. There could definitely be a whole film just about David's escapades with the luchadors. And so, yeah, I mean, once we started getting in, there's just boundless opportunity for more documentary content, narrative content too. I mean, there's so many characters in the world of wrestling.
Exactly.
It's a beautiful, wonderful world, and we just only really scratched the surface.
Yeah, and that's a good point on when he went to Mexico to train. It felt like a real life Rocky type of movie. That's what it felt like.
100%. And that was kind of like one of the most exciting things for us to shoot. We were just really welcomed by the luchadors, you know, who all are supported by government licenses. It's like a real cultural integration now. We had no idea about that, like how kind of important it was culturally. And that's for them to like, you know, basically take in what was basically an ex-Hollywood star who was struggling, who maybe some people, you know, people would come up and be like, scream, you know, on the street from his Scream days, but basically welcomed him as a newbie wrestler, and they put him through his paces and they broke him, and we knew that we had to capture that, and I think it delivers. It's like that sequence in Mexico is just like jumps off the screen.
Yeah, and I loved the videography, the cinematography of it. I loved everything. It really it really showed David in a different light, what you guys did. And I think it really is going to play to a lot of people once they see this film. What can you tell the MUSE TV audience about to go to VOD, if there's a theater open by the house, to go to a theater, go watch this? Because I think this really plays to a movie theater style big screen.
Yeah, I think for me, this film is not for wrestling fans exclusively, obviously. I mean, it's about wrestling at its core. But if you love a good action flick, this movie's for you. If you love a good drama, a tragedy, it really like has such a breadth of emotion. And it's edge of your seat, and it's shocking. There's twists and turns. Like I'm just very excited for people to start seeing it. I mean, if you like Tiger King, you're gonna love this kind of vibe. It's that weird and crazy, but it's got the feels with it as well. So I mean, we're just super happy with the way it turned out. For us, it was a dream. I mean, when we started the project, we couldn't believe. We were concerned that David might not be able to accomplish it, but in the end, he crushed it, and the film's, you know, so good. So we're stoked.
Yeah. Well, David Price, thank you so much for talking with us about the film here on MUSE TV. I really appreciate it. It's a great, great film. I enjoyed it immensely. It was awesome. So check out You Cannot Kill David Arquette. August 27th, correct?
28th.
28th. Missed by day.
Drive-in theaters near you from the 21st.
Well, there you go. And that's the best place to drive. Drive-in theater, old school. Go
keep your distance, people.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Michael. Glad you liked it.